The region continues to grow at north of 5%, and Asia remains a promising market, accounting for 9 of the 10 in the next 1 billion people joining the middle class. The region can be a catchment area for talent, with 60% of the world youth in Asia and Pacific, and Asia continues to witness a hectic activity in the innovation and startup arena, with several unicorns emerging from the region in the last few years. Center for Creative Leadership's Global Asian research, based on almost 200 leader interviews, highlights that there are several key traits Asian leaders bring to the table. For instance, navigating VUCA or volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, comfort with diversity, strong work ethic, agility or action orientation, and humility and empathy. 2 capabilities that are at a huge premium in the post-pandemic world. Global organizations also need a compelling Asian leader pipeline if they aspire to seamlessly operate and grow business in the region, learn how to win in Asia, serve their local customers better, and tap into the demographic advantage that Asia offers. Despite compelling business reasons for curating a strong Asian leader pipeline and Asian leaders bringing key skills to the table, majority of Asian leaders run into what we call a bamboo ceiling, especially as they transition from country or local roles to regional and global assignments. Our Global Asian Leader research suggests that in the top 200 organizations, leaders of Asian origin account for only 4% of the executive teams in US headquartered companies and 3% in Europe headquartered firms. In fact, these numbers have deteriorated in the past 5 years. But why do Asian leaders run into a bamboo ceiling in their global career journey? We can unpack the bamboo ceiling in terms of enablers and blockers Asian leaders may encounter as they try to access global roles and be successful in those roles. Enablers and blockers are experiences, attributes, situations that could enhance or block Asian leaders' access to global career paths or set them up for failure when they step into such assignments. While enablers can be attributed to nurture or nature elements, most blockers are due to the country environment in which the leader grows up and operates, or the organization culture, policies, leadership, or individual skill and aspiration issues. While organizations need to do their bit to remove the blockers and enhance the enablers, what can Asian leaders do to have better access to global roles and set themselves up for success when they take on such assignments? It is all about having the right mindset, sharpening global leadership capabilities, and getting the right differentiating experiences under their belt. Leaders must be comfortable with who they are and why they aspire for global assignments. They must have a mindset that can deal with dilemmas and polarities, a growth leaning, keen to learn at all times, and a global orientation or being comfortable spanning geographic and cultural boundaries. There are 5 traits Asian leaders must sharpen. They must have the courage to take on unfamiliar challenges, curiosity to learn new skills or embrace new cultures, trust, which is trusting people and being trustworthy to be able to build relationships across different cultures, and ability to influence decision via compelling communication. Finally, they also need strategic thinking or thinking global, thinking long-term, and thinking like a CEO. Then there are 4 experiences that can enhance leaders' access to and success in global roles. Cross-border experiences or leaving home shores to experience a different culture, multifunctional exposure to understand different parts of the organization, non-obvious career moves, and crucible or stretch roles to be ready for whatever is thrown at them. These push leaders to be comfortable with discomfort and be ready for complex and unpredictable situations.
There are many approaches to global Asian leader development. The right approach and the amount of effort will depend on your overall business strategy and your Asia strategy. There are 3 questions you should explore to frame the right global Asian leader development strategy. First, how important is Asia to the organization based on the current and future market potential? If Asia will play a much bigger role in the future success, you may need to intensify efforts to ramp up the leadership pipeline quickly. Are there enough leaders in Asia with the desired skills? This will help you decide which skills to focus on and the volume of leaders required to not only serve Asia, but to populate the global leader pipeline. Third, what does your leadership pipeline look like today? Especially if you already face challenges in developing your Asian leadership pipeline, you'll need to reflect on the diversity and inclusion agenda of the entire enterprise. In the longer term, the strength of the diversity and inclusion agenda will decide not only success in terms of gender diversity and racial diversity, but also the diversity of leadership in terms of nationality and ethnicity. Organizations must navigate several dilemmas or polarities in their quest to develop a robust global Asian leader pipeline. In the research, we identified several global Asian leadership polarities. Let me share just two: Asians for Asia or Asians for the world. A big dilemma that we see most recently is this choice between putting effort into developing Asian leaders for the market here in Asia to drive growth, or leveraging and exporting Asian top talent to serve the rest of the world. We know that both are needed for long-term benefit. Moving roles or moving leaders? COVID really changed the playing field when it comes to serving a global role from literally anywhere. While it opened up some opportunity for Asian leaders to play global roles from their home base, exposure to other countries remains one of the biggest success factors for the development of global leaders overall. These polarities need to be and decisions rather than one or the other. Your global Asian leader development strategy needs to evaluate and figure out how you can get the best of both. Asian is a broad term that goes beyond ethnicity, beyond citizenship. When we ask questions like, how would you define Asian? Where would you place yourself? We get many different responses. In our research, we've identified 5 flavors of Asian leadership. You can consider it an Asian cultural spectrum. First, local. Second, Asian returnee. Third, regional champion. Fourth, global nomad, and finally, the local expat, a category that I fall into. These groups have very different development needs, so when we apply a one-size-fits-all approach to the development of Asian leaders, it's not going to be as effective. It's useful to understand how each group is doing in terms of hiring, attrition, and promotion. Getting a better and deeper understanding of Asian talents and their needs is a must. All of these groups are going to be somewhere on their journey to increasing what we call their cultural boundary spanning. And where they are on that journey should determine the right next steps for their global Asian leadership development. We found many interesting and fresh practices from the companies we spoke to for the research. I'll share just a couple. Hardwiring diversity. Looking at the percentage revenue of specific countries and regions and ensuring that there is an equal percent of leaders from that country region represented on your top leadership team. Taking it one step further, truly global organizations are then ensuring that those roles are distributed across the globe and not all based in one country or location. Virtual PATs, a term coming out of the COVID era, also known as digital nomads. For example, a leader in Singapore looking after a team in Europe, or a leader in the UK managing digital operations in Asia Pacific. We're seeing the virtual PAT is more feasible for internal rather than external roles and opens up more opportunities for global Asian leaders to gain exposure. The key is not to use virtual PAT assignments as a replacement for exposure to actually living in other countries. Developing global Asian leaders is a collective undertaking starting at the very top. Global sponsors need to drive the importance and focus on the development of global Asian leaders. Regional managing directors and managers also need to act as sponsors, not just mentors, but sponsors who will actively shine the spotlight on Asian talent and advocate for them for stretch assignments, for bigger opportunities. Global HR also needs to create the right policies and strategies for global Asian leader development. And regional HR need to be the myth busters as well as the bridge builders between the local team and headquarters. Finally, the global Asian leader must really aspire to be in a regional or global role. Believe it or not, this is part of the recipe for success that's often overlooked.
It's a tremendous privilege to serve as lead faculty for CCL's Global Asian Leadership Program. This research really resonates deeply. In fact, many years prior to CCL, I wrote a research paper at Harvard on Asian immigrants in Australia, unlocking their career success with leadership implications. What's terribly exciting with CCL's Global Asian Leader research is that it hasn't just stayed as research, it's moved into the classroom. Members of the research and the CCL faculty team collaboratively combined the research and fused it together with CCL's deep experience and expertise, stemming from over 50 years of leadership development, to bring the Global Asian Leader program to life for our clients and their leaders. Since then, numerous successful global Asian leader programs have been experienced, delivering real results, real impact, real transformation. To achieve this, not only do we equip leaders with CCL's research-based frameworks and models, we also focus on expanding participants' mindsets, capability and capacity to think and lead in ever more complex, systemic, strategic, regional and global contexts. That is, our participants need to develop in both horizontal, new skills, and vertical, even more expansive mindsets and capability. Our journeys understand this. For example, one necessary condition for accelerating vertical growth is creating colliding, continuous perspectives. A recent alumni shared this. They had a really positive impact on our program. They said every session had different small group members, enabling rich dialogue and learning from and with different leaders, different countries, different cultures, different industries, roles and functions. The impact? New perspectives, challenging their existing assumptions, ultimately enabling greater agility, greater versatility, greater adaptability in thinking, acting, and leading. Another alum shared the journey has enabled them to get onto the balcony, to take a moment to pause. It created an opportunity for them to reflect more on their leadership intention and their impact. Ultimately, greater application of leadership to their daily work reality. Others have highlighted the importance of psychologically safe small groups where they can practice difficult, challenging conversations, ultimately enhancing courage and confidence. It's been very rewarding at the individual and organizational level. Chris, I've received some very positive feedback in top management meetings. There's a difference in how I'm being perceived. My ideas and perspectives are now being taken. My boss has said, keep it up. Whether it's at the systemic organizational level with numerous successful cohorts, hearing success stories of promotions, positive results, bench and succession. If your business strategy requires you to develop Asian talent, to ensure more of your Asian leaders break through that bamboo ceiling, a deeper and stronger bench of Asian talent to lead both here in Asia and globally, CCL would be delighted to partner with you on this most important work.
At Center for Creative Leadership, we are fully committed to benefiting society worldwide through the understanding, practice, and development of leadership. There has never been a more important time to invest in global leadership and in global Asian leaders so that organizations can continue to tackle some of the big regional and global challenges we face. We need to see both Western and Eastern multinationals and global organizations leading the way when it comes to diverse leadership that is representative of the revenue, of the employees, of the communities that the organizations serve. This is important progress toward more equitable practices and outcomes and a better world. By setting global Asian leaders up for success, we are setting global organizations up for success.